front page of the Oz now. Banned Chinese exec secretly buying shares in rare earth miner. Foreign investment regulators have launched an investigation into a suspected covert attempt by a prohibited Chinese fund allegedly seeking to take control of a key critical minerals operation in Australia. So we know that critical minerals are becoming, well, they're emerging as a key strategic issue going forward. This particular individual has been banned by Jim Chalmers, the article goes on to say, from acquiring any further shares in this particular company. And here he was, through associated Chinese entities, trying to buy the thing.
Yeah, well,
I mean, thank goodness we stopped him, but we know so much of this goes on that every time I hear about it, I am so disheartened that our government has never put in place, clearly, an effective enough strategy to stop foreign investment and critical infrastructure, let's not even get started on our Port of Darwin, into CCP hands.
Well, this outfit, Northern Minerals, the story says, has some of the world's largest reserves essential for military, defence and electric vehicles.
Kind of important.
I wonder why a rich Chinese businessman would be interested in having control of this company to the point where after he has been told, no, you can't get involved here, he covertly tries to buy into it, right? You know, any other businessman who gets knocked back for something and they're told you can't do it, you dust yourself off, you get up again, you go and find another venture. This bloke is determined to get hold of these resources that are so important to defence and military. I wonder why the Chinese would be doing it.
Do you remember what Joe Biden said to Anthony Albanese in their meeting just over the weekend regarding China? He said, trust and verify. It seems to me like there's been a little bit too much trust and not quite enough verify.
Well, thankfully they did try to verify this. They found out what he was doing.
Well, let's look at the front page of tomorrow's Herald Sun. The headline reads, GP tax chaos. Treasurer quietly offers to waive new fees for some doctors, but not all, amid health fees. A deeply unpopular new tax on GPs has been thrown into chaos, with Treasurer Tim Pallas quietly offering to waive fees for doctors at risk of going under. Now, this is a retrospective payroll tax being applied to GPs. Apparently, about 80% of practices say they are going to have to jack up the cost of seeing a doctor in order to have enough money to pay these retrospective taxes. And now the Treasurer is saying, listen, if it's going to send you under, we are prepared to waive that tax for you. But of course, if you can afford to pay the tax, well, then you will pay it, which seems to undermine the tax when the Treasurer is saying, well, you just let us know if you can afford to pay it and we'll pick and choose who does and who doesn't. But it also seems to advertise the fact that the government knew in advance this would not only jack up the cost of going to your local doctor, and we know how much trouble the Victorian health system is in, but the Victorian government also knew that this may well send some GPs to the wall.
Well, I just wish I could do that with all other taxes. Like, oh,
That's
sorry,
what I was gonna
ATO,
say.
I can't pay my income tax this year. I've blown it all. Forgive me, please. But the concept of this tax is just preposterous. Payroll tax is the most ridiculous tax on the face of the planet.
Fair.
Imagine basically penalising employers for employing people, right? You are putting a handbrake on the economy. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And the reason all this has happened is that previously GP clinics haven't paid payroll tax because a lot of the doctors who work in them are contractors. They're not actually staff. So they've never thought they had to pay payroll tax on any of this. Then all of a sudden all the revenue officers around the country turned around and went, ooh, we can get a bit more money here. The state premiers and the treasurers could tomorrow say, no, we're not going to levy this tax on doctors, but they're going to do it anyway. When bulk billing is at its lowest, when there's a cost of living crisis, it's just
And when they know, like you said, Mac, this will send some doctors under. Do you really want less doctors? We're struggling as it is, for crying out loud. But yeah, if we can make all taxes like this, like, look, it is a tax, but if you can't afford it, it's fine.
I love it. I love it. You know, death and taxes and perhaps getting out of taxes. I wouldn't mind it that way. Off to the Canberra Times now, where the splash tomorrow is dying laws a step closer, voluntary assisted dying could be available to Canberrans by late 2025, with the ACT Human Rights Minister Tara Cheyenne to introduce legislation today. Now, we've known this has been coming for a little while. I can't get over the fact that the ACT has a human rights minister. What is the human rights minister doing most of the time? I mean, sure, living in Canberra may well be in contravention of human rights, having to live over there.
Did it for 2 years.
But what are they doing all the time?
I can't get over the fact you've got a human rights minister who says that these right to die laws are a proud day for Canberra. But interesting in this article, you have to live in the ACT for 12 months in order to qualify, and that's to stop people going to the ACT because their laws are a little laxer than in other states. But in the fine print, it says the bill will review this in 3 years' time. And we also know in a few years' time they'll review the ban on people under the age of 18 accessing euthanasia as well. So they slide these laws in as palatable, and then they make little provisions where they say, we'll review the other stuff once you're used to it.
Yeah, well, last time the ACT did this, the feds squashed it.
Yep, stopped it.
So try and do that again if you can help it.